The first thing you learn about dying is that arrows sound like rain, not the soft spring kind. The angry, sideways kind that soaks through armor and turns men into porcupines. They fall on our shields and waves thud. Crack, thud Persian cane and Egyptian reed shafts snapping against layered wicker. One punches through the gap near my wrist. I don't feel it yet, just pressure, like someone politely knocking. Hold the line. The captain shouts, "We always hold the line. That's the joke. We are the king's immortals. 10,000 men. Always 10,000 when one of us dies." Another steps forward before the body cools. So technically, I'm already replaced. I just haven't stopped breathing yet. Across the dusty plain, Greeks shout like drunken fishermen. Bronze shields. Red cloaks. Big beards. They look like they smell terrible even from here. Thermopylae, the hot gates. A narrow throat of land where the sea hisses to one side and cliffs loom on the other. No room to outflank. No room for cavalry. No room for our usual tricks. Which means today, we fight like everyone else. Infantry. Disgusting. A Spartan slams into my shield. Eyes wild, beard braided like he's about to attend a wedding instead of a massacre. His spear scrapes my scale armor. I stab under his ribs. He falls, surprised. They always look surprised, as if we weren't professional killers. As if this were amateur hour, more arrows fall behind us. Our own archers? The sky darkens. Someone once joked our arrows blot out the sun. Good. I prefer fighting in the shade. Another crash of shields, men screaming in 10 languages. I smell sweat, leather, blood, and the hot sulfur breath of the springs behind us. And as I brace for the next charge, I remember something absurdly small. My mother, arguing about bread, because that's where this really started. Not here, not with glory, with bread. I was born in Susa. Not Sparta, not some muddy Greek village. Susa had gardens, tile walls, perfume in the air. The great king's roads stretched farther than imagination. We weren't a city-state. We were the world. My father served in the army of Darius, not in the army. Just regular infantry, the kind that actually dies and stays dead. He used to say, "Serve well enough, and your son won't have to dig irrigation ditches," when the recruiters came measuring boys like livestock. He volunteered me before I could grow a proper beard. Strong shoulders, they said. Good teeth. Like I was a horse. I tried biting one of them. Didn't help. Training wasn't brutal like Spartan stories. No throwing babies off cliffs. We weren't idiots. We needed our soldiers alive, but it was relentless. Archery until fingers bled. Spear drills until shoulders burned. Marching for days along the royal road. Dust coating our tongues, we learned languages. Etiquette, how to stand behind the king without sneezing. An empire that size needs soldiers who don't accidentally insult Egypt and the armor gods. The armor scale corselets of bronze or iron. Wicker shields light enough to march with, strong enough to stop most arrows. Spears, short swords, daggers, soft trousers instead of skirts. Practical. Also much better for modesty. Try fighting in a breeze wearing a Greek tunic. No thank you. By 15, I could shoot a sparrow off a wall. By 16, I could march 40 kilometers without crying. By 17, I stopped feeling impressed by executions. That's when they selected me, the Immortals. 10,000 men, Persian core, Median, and Elamite nobles mixed in. We guarded the king, spear tips glittering like a moving forest. Wherever he went, Babylon, Egypt, Lydia, we followed. Behind us came servants, mules, cooks, spare weapons. We had more luggage than a royal wedding. Elite status has perks. Fresh bread. Wine, not dying of dysentery every other week. Honestly, half the army would have killed. Just for the bread, we fought rebellions first. Egypt, Babylon, little fires, the empire, stomped out. Then came the big one. Greece, Xerxes. Son of Darius, decided to finish what his father started. Punish the cities that dared burn Sardis. Teach them what happens when ants bite an elephant, so we built a bridge over the Hellespont. The bridge. Over the sea, the Greeks call it madness. We called it Tuesday. I marched with the king past that bridge, watching ships chained together like floating streets, priests chanting, drums beating, tens of thousands of men moving as one. I remember thinking, how could anyone resist this? I turned out another Spartan slams into me, snapping me back to the present. My wounded wrist finally screams. I shove him away, shield rattling. Behind me, one of our men falls, throat open, before he even hits the ground. A reserve soldier steps forward to fill the gap. 10,000 always immortal? It sounds impressive, until you realize what it really means. You are not a man. You are inventory, replaceable. I tighten my grip on the spear. If I die today, someone else takes my place, wears my armor, eats my bread. Maybe even flirts with the girl back in Susa who promised to wait. Immortality. They said what they meant was paperwork. The Spartans roar and charge. Again, we lower our spears and the rain starts falling from the sky. The Spartans hit us again like a collapsing wall. Bronze on wicker. Bone on bone, my shield arm is numb now. The arrow is still stuck through the edge, wagging every time I move like it's mocking me. I kick a man off my spear and lose the weapon entirely. It stays inside him. Terrible return policy. So I draw my short sword, the kopis, curved like a butcher's grin. Up close, wars stop being heroic. They become ugly and personal and very sweaty. Greek lunges. I slice his thigh. He falls screaming. Another tries to grapple me like we're wrestling at a festival. I headbutt him and smell his breakfast. Olives. Regret. Somewhere behind us. The king's standard still flies. That's all that matters. Not revenge. Not even survival, just that banner. People imagine we fight for pride. No. We fight because if that banner falls, someone will execute our entire chain of command and probably fine our families. Empires are efficient like that. Then the whisper moves down the line, not shouted, not panicked, past mouth to ear. They're behind us. First I think it's fear talking, but then I see a dust rising from the cliffs. Greek shields where there shouldn't be any. They found a path. Of course they did. There's always a goat path. There's always some farmer who knows a shortcut. History is usually decided by livestock. Trails, the Spartans realize it too, and something changes. They don't break. They don't run. Idiots they. Smile, they're kingly and not a steps. Forward, like he's late for an appointment. No hesitation. No bargaining. Just acceptance. I've seen rebels beg. Egyptians cry. Babylonians hide behind walls. These men, they tighten their straps. One of them actually laughs. I mutter, "You have to be joking." My friend Artabanus beside me spits blood and says, "Greeks, no sense of career planning. We expect them to flee. Instead, they charge not to win, to die loudly. It's the most irrational thing I've ever seen, and somehow the most terrifying. They crash into us with everything left. No shields saved. No formation preserved. Just fury. Like they're trying to carve their names into time. For the first time since I joined the Immortals, we're the ones stepping back. I locked blades with a Spartan, barely older than I was when I left Susa. His eyes are bright. Almost happy? Come on, he growls in broken Persian. Like this is sport, we trade blows. My arm shakes. My vision swims. I finally slip inside his guard and drive the kopis into his neck. Hot blood down my hand. He collapses. Still smiling madmen, brave madmen. The fight drags. Then suddenly it's over. The last of them fall beneath arrows and spears. The pass is ours. Technically around me. Bodies everywhere. Greek and Persian tangled together like driftwood. Officers start counting. Always counting. Replacements. Already moving up from the rear ranks 10. 1,000 always. I sit on a rock and finally pull the arrow from my shield. My wrist throbs like a drum. Artabanus limps over, grinning. "Congratulations," he says. "You're still immortal." I look at the dead Spartans, stacked like firewood, then at the new recruits taking the places of our fallen. Fresh faces, nervous, alive. I realize something. We're not immortal. We're just continuous, like a river. Men pour in. Men pour out, the name stays, not us. Tomorrow, we march again. Another city. Another rebellion. Another king to guard. And one day, someone else will stand where I stood, shield raised. Arrows falling like rain. They'll call him immortal too. He won't know my name, but he'll carry my place in line. I stand. Wipe the blood from my blade and adjust my armor. The king's banner is moving, which means we move. Immortality. It turns out is just never getting to go home.